We're following a developing story out of the university area where crowds are gathering after one person was shot and killed by a Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer. It happened just before 4 o'clock on Old Concord Road. This is video of the scene from WBTV Sky 3. The department says officers were searching for a suspect with an outstanding warrant at the Village at College Downs. Officers say they saw a man get out of a car with some kind of gun.
We continue to follow a developing story out of Northeast Charlotte, out of the university area, where one person is dead after a shooting involving a Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer. It happened just before 4 o'clock on Old Concord Road. Now, hours later, large groups of demonstrators have gathered in protest. We're also getting word that there's an injury at the scene. We've seen water bottles being thrown earlier, signs held up, people are yelling. Tensions are running really, really high at the scene right now. Time Warner Cable News reporter Kirsten Garris joins us live from that scene with more on what's happening. Kirsten.
Yeah, Claudine, a lot of activity right here. This is hours after that shooting that you were talking about, and the protest actually started down the street in front of the apartment complex. We have moved down all the way down to the street to right here. This is the scene. Now protesters have surrounded, they are linked arm in arm around the police officers who are also, I apologize for that. There are a lot of people going on here, a lot of things here. I apologize also for any profanity you may hear during this broadcast.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Sorry for that. We have a lot of, sorry for that. Again, I apologize for any profanity that you're hearing right now during this protest. Again, emotions are running high after the shooting this afternoon.
The story is a little bit different as to how it's been portrayed so far.
Developing tonight.
We're still going through all of the footage.
A man, Keith Scott, shot and killed by a Charlotte-Mecklenburg police officer.
We all see this as a tragedy.
The department says he pulled a gun and was told multiple times to drop the weapon.
A weapon was seized.
There was a book.
We did not find a book.
When he didn't, he was shot by Officer Brintley Vinson. Vinson has been with the department for 2 years.
The police department should be thinking really seriously right now about releasing any footage that they have.
Hours after his death, the riots erupted.
We deployed gas. 16 officers have been injured.
Police cruisers and area stores vandalized. I-85 blocked and lit on fire. Tonight, the city says they're ready for whatever comes their way.
We all want to work toward a peaceful community.
Well, I told them be vigilant, be professional, and do the job that they've been trained to do and that they're committed to doing.
Violent protests erupted last night after the shooting. 16 officers were also hurt. Now the demonstrations are growing in several spots around the city. Our team coverage continues with Time Warner Cable News Managing Editor Sean Flynn, who started out the epicenter, went to Trade and Tryon, then College and Trade. And Sean, I guess the crowd is just moving from spot to spot.
Well, exactly, Claudine. This is actually kind of a splinter group from that Marshall Park protest. About 150, maybe 200 or so protesters made their way from Marshall Park to Epicenter, stopped there for a while, kind of interrupted everybody's dinner, and then they went to Trade and Tryon, stayed there for a few minutes, mostly just chanting, and then they're making their way down College Street.
Things are remaining peaceful here. We've seen a lot of groups kind of come and go, as Sean was saying. A lot of people left here and went down to the Epicenter, but I want to back out real quick. There's still a good amount of people out here, probably a little over 100, who are praying, they are talking, they are chanting.
Demonstrations continue right now. Tonight there is a lot of activity around the Omni.
In the last 10 minutes, the tone of this has changed a lot. You just heard some glass break, and you're seeing more and more people. This situation has turned dramatically in just the last 10-15 minutes. I will tell you that I seen at the Omni Hotel there are police in riot gear, and people, the protesters, have left there. After that flashbang device went off, I did see a lot of protesters starting to throw bottles, water bottles, anything they could throw towards the police. And then the crowds just multiplied. It probably went from about 150 to 200 to easily 400, 500, 600 people. And the situation's changed a lot. Okay, we just saw another flashbang device being launched by officers who are in their riot gear. There is the tear gas. We can see if you take our shot live here on the streets, there is tear gas on East Trade Street in Uptown Charlotte.
I tried to find online actually why they're targeting the Omni Hotel or what that could be, or maybe there is no target. They just happen to be there. So it just seems like chaos out there right now.
Claudine, we just had a significantly large flashbang device. We are going to go away from the scene a little bit, make sure we're farther back. We are about 30, 45 yards at this point. The situation at the Omni Hotel has deteriorated fast.
Things got really heated and tense there a little while ago. What's it like now?
Yeah, Claudine, let me tell you, when I last talked to you, things deteriorated really fast. It went from just here, a flashbang here and flashbang there and people throwing, to all of a sudden it was like 6, 7, 8. Tear gas was all over the place. The folks I'm here with, Todd and Mark, we all really swallowed a lot of tear gas real fast. It really impacted us. We went actually in with a group of protesters into the Bank of America Corporate Center, and they were nice enough to house us in here, and they said, stay here for a few minutes until it settles down here. There was a lot of people who were in nearby restaurants, and they said that they are actually telling us now to cut this off. There was a lot of people who were in restaurants. They evacuated those restaurants, and they came here seeking refuge and coverage. Again, they're being very nice in here, letting us stay here. Real quick, let me talk to Brandon. He was a cook at City Smoke. Brandon, real quick before they tell us to stop. What was happening? How did you guys get evacuated up here?
Well, they busted a window in our restaurant. And I just want to say to all the people out there, black, white, Indian, Japanese, bro, all our lives matter. This madness that is going on out here, this is ridiculous, man. This is ridiculous.
Okay. Well, they were telling us we need to shut down.
So tonight started out as a peaceful night, people coming together of different races, different ages, different religions, coming together to express how they felt about all of this. And then it took a turn for the worse in Uptown.
But I want to stress that this evening began with peaceful protesters. We were at Marshall Park, we were holding candles. It was peaceful. It did not have to play out this way.
Right now, let's head back over to the middle of it at the Spectrum Center. That's where we find Time Warner Cable News reporter Andrew Sorensen. Is he there? I don't see. Are you there, Andrew?
Yes, we're here. Yeah, I'm here.
What is happening?
Claudine, people are running away. There's a fire. There's a fire in the middle of the intersection. It looks like Caldwell and Trade. Fire trucks are trying to come in. There's a person on the ground. A couple people are trying to drag them off. Riot police just walked down the street here, and things escalated really quickly. Something just got thrown into the air. Fireworks in the middle of this intersection. Now people are running away. It is turning tense around here. They've been trying to start that fire for the last 5 minutes or so, and it looks like they did get it going. Police are getting around that fire and trying to take control of the intersection here. One person at least is hurt here. They're setting him down on the, it might be a TV photographer. It does look like a TV photographer who may have been hurt there. He was on the ground there by the fire. He looks pretty shaken up. I'm not sure exactly what just happened, but he looks very shaken up.
It seems like about 20 minutes ago, the police in their riot gear, especially after they got all those reinforcements, almost split the protesters in half and kind of pushed them away from each other. I think trying to get their numbers down a little bit. And within the last 5 minutes, when you were watching Andrew and you were hearing all those explosions, it seems like almost the protesters over here quieted down a little bit.
We got a lot going on right here. There are tear gas canisters and fireworks mixed. Quite a lot going on. You can see those tear gas canisters getting thrown back into the air by these protesters as they start to move our way. We're behind a barrier here, and we're going to stay behind this barrier as they start to move our way. Things are starting to get really smoky at that intersection of Trade and Caldwell, just outside of the Hyatt House. People are moving our direction rapidly. People are running down the street. Police have set off at least 2 or 3 tear gas canisters in the last couple of minutes. You can see that intersection very smoky. Lots of people moving down this way. It looks like some people have been affected by this tear gas. They're trying to spit it out as they walk away from it. It's It appears that police are trying to push people away from this intersection.
We obviously picked the wrong place to park. We were trying to get some of the protesters around 7 o'clock this evening. They were heading to the epicenter. We parked where we traditionally do, right outside the Spectrum Center, the formerly known as Time Warner Cable Arena. 5 hours later, our cars look a little different. Here's our two cars. We'll just start with this. You can see right here on this side, that's probably a boot, a dent in the door. We'll get a little worse here. There's 3 objects in this windshield that obviously caused the damage. That was videographer Todd Baldwin's vehicle. Mine took a little bit worse of a hit. You can obviously tell that somebody got on top of the car and started busting in the windshield here. It takes a lot of anger to bust in something like that. I don't know if you can see it from Todd, but they were actually on top of the car, jumping on top of it. I can see footprints on here, and there's a fairly large dent into the roof. As Todd can come around, going into the news vehicle, you can see I actually had to sweep off the seat, and a lot of the glass from the windshield is sitting on the dashboard, and I had to sweep off the seat just so I could drive it back to the news channel. I definitely think we're going to meet our deductible on this one.
After a second night of riots,
he had a really huge chunk of his head missing right here.
Erupted through the city.
No justice, no peace.
Whose side is you on? I'm on their side.
The city of Charlotte begins to clean up the damage in Uptown.
This has been a difficult couple of days for the city of Charlotte.
We had a lot of looting.
City leaders
We are a peaceful city.
are working to control the chaos.
I am incident commander of this operation.
The National Guard was deployed this morning.
Our main concern is safety.
We don't see a need to definitively shut the city down.
And some in the community demand to see the tape showing the moment a Charlotte Mecklenburg police officer shot Keith Scott.
There must be transparency.
Release would be to the masses, and that's what I'm not going to do.
As lawyers representing Scott's family speak out for the first time.
Many feel as though they are inhuman until they are proven to be human.
Our team coverage continues next. We continue to follow the aftermath of this week's deadly officer-involved shooting in Northeast Charlotte. It sparked 2 nights of violent riots, and the city remains on standby for a possibility of a third, which could come to fruition in Uptown's Romare Bearden Park. That's where we find Time Warner Cable News reporter Caroline Vandergriff. And Caroline, are things starting to escalate?
Yeah, it seems that way, Claudine. More and more people are joining this group that's gathered here at Romare Bearden Park. Take a look right now. They're gathered in a circle around some of the organizers who have been giving them instructions on how to deal with things like tear gas, rubber bullets. Some people here have gas masks, have bandanas. So it seems like they're prepared really for another night of some of the major protests and riots we've seen the past 2 nights.
The sun just set, and things are actually really eerily quiet here in the Second Ward portion of Uptown Charlotte. Right now we're right outside the NASCAR Hall of Fame, and this is not an image that tourism officials really want to see. There's an armored Humvee, part of the North Carolina National Guard, and there's actually soldiers here who are carrying their weapons, walking around the convention center, the NASCAR Hall of Fame, a lot of the other buildings here in Uptown Charlotte.
We are marching with hundreds of people right down Trade Street right now. We actually marched from Romare Bearden Park all the way down Tryon Street, and now we're down Trade. The group just keeps getting bigger and bigger, more protesters. The main message we've heard here, shouted over and over, is release the tapes.
So tonight we haven't really seen any tear gas, which is a good thing. Tonight it's been more peaceful, and we hope it stays that way. But as you can see, more and more people are taking to the streets, and our reporter Caroline Vandergriff has been following the marchers for several hours now. And Caroline, what is it like right now where you are?
Yeah, we're trying to keep up with everyone. This is a really fluid situation. I want to give you a look. Right now, all these protesters are flooding 277, the on-ramp there. They have completely blocked access to the highway right now. It's a pretty unbelievable scene. We have hundreds of people out here. It looks like police are trying to get out there as well and establish a presence. I don't see any in riot gear or anything like that gathering at this point. And really people are just crowding around. There's lines of cars out here waiting to get on the highway, and it's obviously not going to happen at this point. They have completely blocked off access. It looks like on both sides from what I can tell, and they're beginning to march. They're beginning to march right now. We'll keep moving with them as we go. You can see the helicopters above us. A lot of people here kind of just looking at this situation, bystanders. We'll maybe climb up on the hill. I heard a loud bang. I'm not sure if that was any kind of flash bang. But things definitely appear to be getting a little more volatile here. It looks like police are following the protesters as they march down 277.
Caroline, if you can hear me, there was a lot of violence last night. Yeah, can you hear me? There was a lot of violence last night, as far as, you know, 2 of our news vehicles were damaged. You know, you saw firsthand the violence. How are you feeling tonight? How do you feel as far as your safety out there?
I think we need to go at this point, and we'll get out there and get to a better place.
All those people who were on I-277 and pushed off by CMPD, they walked down Moorhead Street. Now they're making their way up South Tryon Street. There was probably a couple of hundred of them. I've seen some people who actually, you could tell that they were severely impacted by the tear gas. We're seeing this vandalism. I'm not sure exactly what signal or sign he's trying to paint right now. It seems like CMPD, for the most part, is letting them walk back into 277, almost like they're happy if they're contained in that area.
The crowd is just coming up to us on Trade and Tryon, and we've been seeing a couple of people coming down who got pepper sprayed. They were looking like they were hurting quite a bit. They had it all over their faces.
They shot at us and they started throwing tear gas at us. Yep. They initiated the violence and we ran, but yet we're going to be the violent ones. It
is just coming down a little bit, light sprinkle. I think one of the big differences here tonight are these National Guardsmen around a lot of these buildings, and they're around pretty much all of these buildings. Tonight, it's a lot more peaceful.
Now we are hearing reports of pepper spray, tear gas, and rubber bullets. We're also hearing reports of hugs from police officers and protesters, peaceful protesters who just want some change in our country and in our world, that they hug police officers. Last night we saw a police officer give a smile and a wave to somebody as they were leaving the scene. Let's check back in with Sean Flynn and see how he's doing tonight. Sean.
Well, Claudine, I have to admit, being out here for the last couple of nights, I've seen a lot of things. I experienced tear gas, and as I said when we talked about 10 minutes ago, that was really touching watching that protester. She was out 2 nights ago. Last night, she's seen it all. She just wants to get her message out, and she wants to be peaceful. These officers, and again, if you've ever been out seeing this line, it is intimidating watching them, and for her to go up and talk to them and share a prayer, and then embrace an emotional hug, it was pretty special. I don't know if we can bring that picture or that video up. It's the end of it. And I was sitting here, everybody's walking by, the protesters were walking by, and for whatever reason, there was something about this woman when she approached some of these officers, and I kept an eye on her. I don't exactly know why. I couldn't tell. I've seen a lot of people get in the officers' faces and yell at them and scream at them, and she was right, just like other protesters, getting in their face, but it was a different tone, and the officer looked different. It's much more receptive. It was a female officer, and after about 2 to 3 minutes of praying, they hugged.